I'm going to run a chi-square test between two categorical variables. One is gender, so male and female, as we see there, and the other is perceived value for money in clothes, and that is bottom, neutral, and top. Why is it bottom, neutral, and top? Because originally I had, over here, Likert scale data, which is a scale from 1 to 7. People said how good value for money it is. But unfortunately, I haven't got enough people to run a t-test because I've only got about 37 or so men and I've got 200 and something women. So it's a bit lopsided. I can't really run a t-test. So let's see what we can do with a chi-square. Now, for now, I'm going to keep these 3 categories here. I might be changing that in a bit. We're going to see. So let's go and do some analysis. Go to Analyze, Descriptives, and Crosstabs. The order you do this doesn't really matter, but I'm going to go for categorical as rows and gender as a column. I just like to work that way. So we need to go for statistics and choose chi-square, Fire and Kramer's V, and then we can leave it at that. There's other things we could play around with, but we're actually okay. Cells, I want to have rows, columns, and total. Click OK. And the rest of it doesn't really matter here. So format doesn't really matter, style really doesn't matter, and bootstrap, again, doesn't matter. There is one thing I'm going to do as well, which is exact. I'm going to say, for now, asymmetric only. We're going to just come back in a few minutes. And we're good to go. So click OK. And this is going to run my chi-square test. So minimize this one. And here we are. So what are we looking for? Well, first, we need to see how many people we've got. So we need to have 5 people per group to run chi-square. So we got 31, 188, that's good. 5 and 54, that's okay, we can live with that. But only 3 and 23. So that's not particularly good. There's not really enough bottom males there. But we can find a way around this. So what you would do if you had enough people here is you would say, well, we're going to go for Pearson chi-square, and it's going to give us significance of 0.501, saying that between the categories, there's no real difference. We can see that there's percentages kicking around, but between men and women, there's no difference. So we can actually just say that overall, we've got 8.6% in the bottom, we've got 19.4% in the middle, and a big 72% in the top, and leave it at that. We don't need to differentiate between men and women because there's no significant difference between the two. These percentages here are more about percentage within gender. Because there's more women and things, it's all around a little bit. So yeah, that's just how it goes. But we do have a small number there. So there's things we can do. Let's go back into our data. We can say we're going to ignore the bottom. So we're going to take out that. There's not enough people to run chi-square with that how it is. So we can go back and run this again. Descriptives, crosstabs. Just click OK. It's all been remembered from last time. And minimize that one. We'll see here that we only have neutral and top. So is the difference between people, gender in the neutral and top categories because we've got enough people. And in this case, we're using Fisher's exact because, we're using Pearson still because we've got enough people. And it's 2.249. So again, it's a lower value, but really it's not significant. There's nothing going on there. And these things here about Fee and Kramer's, you only use those if you've got a significant outcome. So that's actually nothing particularly special there. So what happens if we have less than 50 people? In this case, we've got 278 people, which is a lot, so we're fine. But let's imagine we didn't have enough people. Well, what we do then is just make sure we're running Fisher's exact. Let's go and run through Fisher's exact now. What we'll do is exact and say we go for exact and click OK. And this gives us the new one at the bottom. And we are looking for Fisher's exact here. We go for the 2 sides and that's 284. Now you would have seen previously that Fisher's exact did appear in our second test. It actually is there. And the numbers are very similar. Actually, they are the same. So you might be thinking, why did I go back and press that? It's because sometimes with some data, you might get different outcomes. So just be very careful with that. We can say that, there's nothing going on here. If we had a significant outcome, it would be different. You only use fishers when it's below 50 people. So we've really got a really small sample size. Fishers exact is fantastic.